Breaker Crunchers, welcome to issue 48 of Couch Crunchers, where Cameron and I have swapped roles. I am now Cameron, and he is now Max. This is the Elseworlds edition of Couch Crunchers. As I said, I am Cameron, and I've got with me...
Max, the gamer guy.
Awesome. Well, obviously that's not true. We have now used magic to switch it back. I am now Max, the gamer guy again, and we have got Cameron. This week, we're going to be doing something a little different. Rather than doing Fab or Flub, we're just going to discuss a few things that have been going on. Mm-hmm. You may have noticed we haven't done a live stream in a while. Just been a busy time of year with Christmas and everything and the holidays. But we've got stuff to talk about. Cameron, Lance, and a few other friends of ours went and saw an early screening of Aquaman. So Cameron's going to give us his thoughts on that. I saw Into the Spider-Verse last night. I'm going to give you my thoughts on that. We're going to talk a little bit about Titans as well. Let's start off with Spider-Man, and then we'll save Aquaman for the end. That's the meaty one.
That's the big one.
So you didn't have a chance to see Into the Spider-Verse yet, right?
I haven't yet, and to be honest, I've been I want to see it, but it's not been at the top of my list with all the other movies that have come out. So I'm glad to hear that it was good, though. That's a good sign.
Yeah, I'm probably going to be writing a review tonight. It was fantastic. It was so good.
Yeah.
I wasn't expecting it to be good because, I don't know, maybe I'm weird. I just seeing the trailer. I didn't think the art style looked cool. I just didn't think it looked that great. I thought it looked okay. I knew I'd see it, but I wasn't really excited. But then I had a buddy that said, "Hey, man, let's go see it together." So we went and saw it. Oh, man, I loved it. I thought I wouldn't like the art, and I ended up loving the art. Okay. I thought I would think that the story was kind of dumb. The story was awesome.
Was it?
Yeah, and it couldn't have been done live action. Okay. Because if you've seen the trailers, there's Peter Porker, a pig, and there's also a anime person. Like, this chick literally looks like she's out of a Japanese anime.
Okay.
And so and then on top of that, you've also got Spider Noir. So You've got these different Spider-Man and Spider people from different dimensions that just in live action, I think it'd look weird. I think Spider Noir you can make work in live action because he's really just black and white.
Right.
That's fine. Just give him a black and white costume and whatever. But the other two would just look so silly in live action that I think animated was the way to do this. Okay. Miles Morales was extremely charming.
Okay.
Very well voice acted. I loved the character.
Who was the voice actor?
I'd have to look that up.
Okay.
Now you got me
Sorry
curious.
To put you on the spot there.
No, you're good. You're good. There were some other big names in it, though. If you've seen the trailer, this isn't a spoiler. You know that Peter Parker dies, but then he meets another Peter Parker from a different dimension. So the first Peter Parker that dies is voiced by Chris Pine.
Okay.
And I didn't realize that going into it. I heard his voice. I was like, "Oh, it's Chris Pine," because I just watched the movie Outlaw King, and before that, Hell or High Water. So I've watched all these Chris Pine movies lately, and so his voice is very, very familiar to me. So Miles Morales was an actor named Shameik Moore. Yeah, let's see. What was he in?
I don't recognize the name.
I don't either. He's not a big actor. He's only been in 12 things. Cutthroat City, The Pretenders, The Get Down, Dope, Incredible Crew, The Watsons Go to Birmingham. A lot of stuff I haven't even heard of, honestly.
I don't know most of those.
I actually haven't heard of any of these other than Into the Spider-Verse. But he did great. It's kind of funny. I guess he's not old, but he's a man. Like, he's not a kid, but he sounded like a kid. He did a good job making himself sound like a 13, 14, 15-year-old kid. So yeah, that was Miles Morales. He did great. Peter Parker from the other dimension, which I think is actually our dimension, to be honest. I think Miles Morales is from a different dimension. And Peter Parker is he's supposed to be the Peter Parker we're familiar with from like the Tobey Maguire universe, honestly.
Okay.
Anyway, he was voiced by Jake Johnson, who's from New Girl. So that's Nick from New Girl. He was also in Jurassic World. He's been in quite a few things. He did fantastic. Just a lot of great voice acting. I mean, Mahershala Mahershala Ali. I have a hard time saying his name. He was Cottonmouth on Luke Cage. He was in it. So a lot of good talent, really funny, just good tone, good action. I really only have one negative thing to say about it, and this is just me being picky. I hated Kingpin and how he looked. I didn't hate the voice actor. I didn't hate the character. He just looked like a goober.
So is that because of the Kingpin from Daredevil? Is this like where he's being compared to the last portrayal type thing? Or?
No. Here, I'm going to find a picture of him and I'm going to do a quick screen share so you can see here.
Okay.
He just looks
like a goober, huh?
I don't like it. He has no neck. His shoulders are absolutely like crazy big. And he just looks like that
mugshot guy.
Let's see here. Let's find a good one. Because he's always been he's not proportionate. He's never been proportionate. But he also, he just looks like a goober. He's not proportionate at all. So here, I'm pulling this up. I'll do a screen share here. And all right, let's get the screen share going. No, that's not what I wanted to do. All right. Can you see my screen now?
No.
Still no?
Still no.
All right, what did I do? Oh, I need to hit the share button. Duh. Can you see that?
Oh, wow.
Yeah. Not a fan.
He doesn't look very good.
Here's another picture. That's how he looks in the movie. Just not a...
not a fan of that. I would agree with you on that one. That's not a very good look for Kingpin.
No, not at all. So, let's...
Okay.
Yeah, not a fan.
Yeah,
not a fan at all. So, other than that, it was really good, dude. I don't know.
Does it rank up there with the DC stuff? Because DC is killing the anime game.
It's higher quality than that.
Animated. It's higher quality than the DC stuff.
Yeah, well, because the DC stuff doesn't come to theaters, and not that coming to theaters means it's high quality, but this was a full theater production. Like the special effects, the DC ones are hand drawn. It seems like it's more of that hand drawn animation, which is cool, and I like it. This was fully rendered CG type stuff. It had the best art direction, I'd say, of any animated movie that came out this year. It's gonna win. I can't see how it won't win. It as incredible as incredible as Incredibles 2 was. It wasn't revolutionary. Nothing about it was really revolutionary. No. It was just hilarious and a lot of fun. Great movie, but Into the Spider-Verse was infinitely better as far as art direction goes. It was very different, and it was cool because when he'd have his thoughts, you could see yellow comic strips pop up on the screen showing you what he's thinking. You'd also hear it because the voice actor was narrating it, but it felt like you were watching a moving comic book, and it was really cool. It was kind of jarring at first, but I got used to it and really, really liked it.
Okay, I like that.
So the basic premise of the movie is Kingpin creates this machine because he wants to bring his family back. Vanessa and I can't remember the name of his son, but they died in this universe. He wants to bring them back, so he creates this machine that'll bring them from another universe. And Spider-Man's trying to stop them, and in the process, he dies, and he kind of gets put in the machine. And it, instead of bringing Vanessa, it brings a bunch of Spider people. Because it takes Spider-Man's DNA and brings all the other Spider-Men. So you have these six Spider people. Miles is a brand new Spider-Man. He literally got bit by the spider that day the movie starts, whereas everyone else is established. So you've got a Peter Parker who's probably in his mid-30s by now, because he says he's been doing this for 22 years. He's got a beer belly. He and MJ are no longer together. They broke up. They got divorced, I think, even. So you got that, and he's kind of the main character next to Miles. He and Peter Parker are the focus. But then you got Spider-Gwen, you got Spider-Man Noir, you've got the future Spider person that's from like anime looking. Yeah, the spider pork pig, Spider Pig. So it's just fun. Like Spider Pig he's like a Looney Tune. He takes big hammers out of his pocket and smacks people on the head. He drops anvils on top of people. Like it's goofy and it's wonderful, and I loved it. It was one of the best Spider-Man movies I've ever seen, if not maybe the best.
Wow.
I'm if you're watching this right now, you're getting a sneak peek. It's going to get a 5 out of 5 and a grade A buffoonery rating on the Couch Crunchers website. It was really, really good.
Okay.
I loved it. I just can't think of anything negative other than Kingpin looking like a goober.
Kingpin a goober. Okay.
Yeah. So I think that'll do it for Spider-Man. Unless you had any other questions on it.
No, I like I said, I want to go see it. It's not been on the top of my list, but hearing that it runs like a live action comic book, like okay, that's piqued my interest. I might go watch that movie. I've put that higher on my priority list.
You should. It's really good, and your kids will like it too.
Okay.
I mean, it's rated PG. It's rated PG. I mean, if you took like a 3-year-old, it's not like it's going to be inappropriate or anything, but it's just they're not going to get it. The story's a little deeper than a 3-year-old might understand.
Okay.
But yeah, kids would love it. Very good.
I don't know if kids pay attention necessarily to the story so much.
Yeah, they just like seeing bad guys get punched.
Exactly. Exactly. Yeah. That's all of us going to care about. So.
Well, cool. Let's move on to talking about Titans. I'm caught up. I just finished the latest episode today. Have you had a chance to watch any of it yet?
Just the first episode.
That's it. Well, what'd you think?
I enjoyed it. I liked so the first episode was good. I went into it though because reading some of your reviews, going in with the expectation that it's going to get better. And that's I think why I enjoyed the first episode, because I knew that it's laying some very basic groundwork, and that there's going to be improvement. So I know you didn't like the first episode, didn't care for it too much.
I think I liked it. I thought I gave it like a 4 out of 5.
Well, maybe you did.
Maybe you were reading someone else's review.
That might be. It might have been. But it definitely, I feel like they're setting up some groundwork for the story, and what I've heard and read from future episodes, it gets a lot better. So I'm looking forward to finishing it. It's
very good. The best episodes, in my opinion, have been. Let's see here. We just did episode 10. So episode 2 and episode 9 have been my 2 favorite episodes. Okay. And there's a big commonality between those two. Hank and Dawn, who are Hawk and Dove.
Okay.
Right. Wow. So good. I cannot remember the actor's name, but he played Aquaman in Smallville.
Okay.
And now, excuse me. And now he's playing Hank or Hawk. They're so grounded and down to earth, and they're so gritty, but it's okay because they're not these characters that you've grown to love. You know what I mean? Like, you see the trailers for Titans and you get a little worried about Robin being so brutal. You know, at least I was worried about Robin being so brutal. It was out of character. But for Hawk and Dove, like, they're not as established. Like, people aren't going to care, and they're very gritty and they're very interesting. And episode 9 shows even more so how interesting they are. I don't want to go into spoilers, but that episode really dives into their backstories for each of them, how they meet, and the trauma from their past. And they're interesting. And I think Hank, honestly, is my favorite character of all. He's just damaged. And you can tell that from the first few minutes of the second episode that start off with him. He's got a potty mouth like crazy. I mean, and it's TV mature, so there's plenty of F-words in the show. But Hank is if he's in an episode, you know there's going to be quite a few F-words because it's his favorite word.
Okay.
I mean, not really. I'm exaggerating, but he's like I said, he's grittier, and he's damaged. So those episodes have been the best. The latest episode was also really good. I really liked it because it's finally moving the story along. I don't want to say it's slow because they're only 10 episodes in. I mean, and if you look at like Smallville back in the day or these CW shows, they take forever to get their stories going because it's 22 episode seasons. And this one, I'm pretty sure, is going to be 12. So there's only 2 episodes left this season.
I was going to say, I think, yeah.
Yeah. So it really got a lot deeper into the show, and a lot that has been building occurred in this episode. So it was a pretty exciting episode. I'm loving though seeing these characters come to life. I'm loving it.
That's good. Well, and so what I like about the being on the DC universe is that they have more leeway to make those grittier characters, especially on the DC side. It's darker. There's a lot more gritty characters that have potty mouths, or that have issues with those things.
Yeah,
and they have the luxury and the freedom to make that show be theirs and be true to the characters from the comic books, which is, I think, what got a lot of people excited when they announced Titans would be on that. So I'm hoping that, granted, I haven't, like I said, I only watched the first episode. I'm hoping that it stays good and stays true to some of these characters in the comic book, having that license to be able to do a little more freedom there.
It's different, but it's similar enough. Like, I would say this season draws heavily from the DC movie Titans versus Justice League.
Okay.
Not the Justice League isn't in this; they're mentioned, but just that I like the story arc of it revolves around Raven, and it's about why am I forgetting her dad's name? But he's essentially Satan. But it revolves around Raven and her father and all that. So that movie, if you guys want to kind of get caught up on a little bit of what Titans are like, if you're not familiar with it, I'd watch that. Justice League versus Teen Titans. It's very good. And it honestly, I don't have a ton of exposure to the Titans. I've watched the animated movies and that's it. And I feel like I know quite a bit just from doing that. Sure. So it's a really interesting story. They do a lot of character studies. Like, they'll do almost entire episodes where it just focuses on one character and it gives you their backstory, and it progresses the overall story a little bit, but it gives you just a lot of backstory. And I'm very much enjoying that.
That's good. Well, they're setting a good foundation, because I think a part of what makes, particularly in the world of comics and pop culture, what makes that so appealing is that you can relate and connect to the individual characters. Mm-hmm. And in order to do that, you need to know a little bit about their history, their backstory, who they are, what makes them tick. So that's good. I'm glad they're doing that.
Sorry, I keep yawning. I'm not even that tired.
You're good.
It's been a long day. No, I agree with you, though. And the DC streaming service is off to a good start, and I'm excited to see what they do in the future. I know Young Justice, which isn't going to be live action, but season 3 of Young Justice is going to be coming to the DC streaming service.
Yep.
We've got Swamp Thing. We've got Harley Quinn. We've got the Doom Patrol. The Doom Patrol, I think, is next, and they've cast some pretty cool people for that.
Good.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it. I didn't like the Doom Patrol episode, but I was finding out though that they cast different people for the full show than they did in that brief episode that they did around Halloween, which I'm glad, because like the characters were fine, but the episode was just kind of boring, and so it made me think, I don't know if I want a Doom Patrol show. But now that I'm hearing a little bit more about the cast, Brendan Fraser is in it.
Right, I heard that.
Timothy Dalton, he's going to be the Doctor, so that's cool. That has me excited. I like Timothy Dalton.
Right.
So yeah, DC I think is doing some really cool stuff with that streaming service, and I'm really liking it. And this is the future for me. I'm getting tired of CW. Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. I'm not tired of. Gotham I'm not tired of. But like the CW stuff I'm getting tired of. Elseworlds was great, to be fair. But each of the separate shows, I'm not really liking any of them that much. Arrow's the best of them. And it would probably, I'd say so far, I'd give it a 3 out of 5 for the season. Wow. Supergirl and Flash, I'd give them 2 out of 5 for the season. I'm just not. They're not good. They're duds. But Elseworlds was great, and so it makes me think maybe I'll just wait a year and I'll come back for the next crossover.
Just wait till the big crossover. Well, and that just ended, right?
Yeah, it just ended, and it was very good. I really liked it. Superman was in it, and Supergirl, and Arrow, and Flash, and you had Barry Allen from Another Earth, played by blanking on his name, but the same guy who played the Flash in the 90s show, who also played Barry's dad in the show, and he's played tons of characters in the show. Jay Garrick, and he's been like tons of people. But it was great. It had all these cool Easter eggs. Like if you watch Arrow and you know who John Diggle is, that Barry Allen, who was from the 90s show, came in and he looked at John Diggle and he's like, "John, where's your ring?" talking as if he's supposed to be Jon Stewart with the Green Lantern ring. So that was a cool Easter egg, like that kind of stuff is really fun, and they're really expanding on this universe. And you had Black Suit Superman. Just having Superman in general on the screen with them was a lot of fun. I like Tyler Hoechlin as Superman. Elseworlds was a lot of fun, but I think it's fun because it's a shorter story arc. And I think that's why I like Daredevil and Luke Cage, Jessica Jones, Titans. They're higher budget because they have less episodes, and so they can put that that budget into less episodes and give us something higher quality.
Right. Okay. Well, that's good to know.
Yeah.
I haven't watched much of the CW. I got over it after about season 4 of Arrow.
I don't blame you.
And I think it was season 2 or 3 of Flash, and it just everything got too whiny and that's been my issue with CW. Like Gotham has been great, and I think that some of the other networks are doing okay, but a lot of the CW shows just get too teen drama-y.
Yeah, and they get way too political for no reason other than just to be political.
And just to do it.
And I'm just not interested. Like, even if I agree with the politics on the show, it's just like, I don't watch this for a platform. I watch this to be entertained.
Exactly. I'm here to escape this.
Yeah. So, yeah, I'm with you, dude. Flash season 1 and 2 were really good.
They were.
But it went downhill after that.
Yep.
Season 3 was meh. Season 4 was garbage. Season 5 isn't good. Supergirl was okay the first few seasons. This season just...
I enjoyed the first season of Supergirl. I couldn't really get into the second season, but I had enough going on that I was like, I've got more stuff I'd rather watch than this. So
I get it. And and Arrow season 5 was fantastic. So like seasons 1 and 2 of Arrow are widely regarded as great, and I agree. Season 3, not as much. Season 4, people hated. And then season 5, they really came back into form, and it was super, super good. But then last season with Ricardo Diaz was just hot garbage.
Right.
It was just, I know you didn't watch it, but the main villain in it was just terrible. And he carried over into like 9 episodes of this season. They didn't even beat him until 9 episodes into this season. And he wasn't that interesting. He wasn't that formidable. There was no reason they couldn't have beat him in 1 episode. Like he was literally, he should have been a villain of the week, but they stretched him out over 30 episodes. It just pissed me off. I'm just like, I hated it. And this season, like, now that they've finally taken down Diaz, I don't really know where they're going. I think I know. They introduced, I think, the new villain, but I'm just disinterested.
Yeah, it's too bad.
But speaking of DC,
yes,
we got Titans. That's good. CW, not so much, except for Elseworlds was very good. I really liked it. We've got a new DC movie coming out in the US next Friday. You were lucky enough to see it. Tell us about it.
Monday. So it was better than I anticipated. It was good. I thoroughly enjoyed the movie. It was way better than I anticipated. I did not go in with the expectation that it would be better than Wonder Woman. I expected it to be better than Justice League. I was not disappointed at all. When you watch the preview, I know that the big concern was, when they show the crowd and the wave of water that brushes, or the wave of energy that brushes over the whole group, the big concern was that it'd be too CGI'd and it would look real bad. Either they cleaned it up or they intentionally showed like a one little spot where it was bad.
Yeah.
Because it was not bad throughout the movie.
That's good.
There were some parts where you're like, you could tell that they were trying, but the whole story takes place basically underwater. So there were a few things.
So most of it's underwater, huh?
I know, right? Aquaman being underwater.
Well, I wasn't even trying to make a joke. It's just the trailers didn't make it look like it was going to be mostly underwater. Looked like a lot of it was, but not most of it.
A good portion of that movie takes place underwater.
Okay. Right.
Obviously not the beginning. I love Nicole Kidman. I've loved a lot of the stuff that she's been in. I thought she was fantastic in her role. She really does a good job. There's a little bit of a twist with her in the storyline. I won't spoil. I'll go as spoiler free as I possibly can.
Please.
But
I'm seeing it next Thursday. I don't want any spoilers.
Be excited for it. You should be. It was very good.
I've got my tickets in IMAX. The missus and I are ready to go.
There you go.
Heck yeah.
So they did. IMAX is smart, and I wish that the preview we'd seen was in IMAX, because a lot of the colors and a lot of what they did, they took out of the playbook of Valerian. So it's very vibrant, very bright colors, very popping for some of these parts of Atlantis and other parts of the ocean that they're in.
Yeah.
Very vibrant, very bright, popping colors, and it really was cool just from that view to just watch and see, and it was good. I will say, I think the only part of the movie I did not care for, and it's not like a specific part, but when Jason Momoa tried to act, it wasn't very good. We've all seen the videos. Like, if you haven't seen it lately, he's on the tour, and I don't know where he's at, but he does the haka with a bunch of Polynesians on the red carpet.
Yeah.
Okay. And you watch other videos of him, and you hear interviews of co-worker or co-stars and stuff on sets, and they say that he's just very fun. He's very animated, very bubbly and bright, and just fun to work with. And you can see that when he's being himself. But you can tell in the movie when he's trying to act and be serious and not be himself, it's very obvious that he's trying to act, and it's not in a good way. Not that it's bad per se, but he's a better actor when he's just being himself.
Yeah. No, he's not a great actor. Yeah. I watched, I've seen him in Game of Thrones, which he was really not in much. He's in the show Frontier that I like to watch. Okay. He's not bad, but he's not a great actor. He's just
not a great actor.
He's got the look, yes. He's good for action.
When he plays himself, just his carefree playboy type of life, he actually is good. He's an entertaining to watch. He's enjoyable. But like I said, when he tries to act and be serious and assume this role of being, King of Atlantis, it comes off as almost ingenuine.
Really?
Yeah, it's not. That was the only thing I could really critique heavily on that from the movie. There were some moments. It's a comic book movie. There are some moments where it gets pretty cheesy, a little corny. Afterwards, Lance he was hung up on like this 80s like montage type of feel to it when he's preparing to fight his brother. And it definitely is. You'll know exactly what we're talking about when you see it. But overall, the story was good. I did feel like they rushed it a little bit at the end. Like, oh crap, we better wrap this up, otherwise we're going to be a 3-hour movie. So they kind of rushed, I felt, the end, but they did a good enough job in the beginning of establishing Aquaman becoming and fulfilling that mantle of being King of Atlantis. Mm-hmm. And stepping into that role that, while it's a little bit rushed, it's okay to I was okay with that. I could overlook that because of everything that happened prior to that. Yeah. The Aquaman we got in Justice League was not Aquaman. That was pre.
That was Aqua Bro.
That was the Water Boy.
The Water Boy. So I gotta know this.
Okay.
I know I've seen his more official costume in the trailers. How did it look in the film, in the final product?
It looked good. It's, if you've not read the comic books, you're gonna think it looks corny. It looks just like what you would expect, like what you see Aquaman portrayed as in the comic books.
Yeah.
It's green and gold, and it's very bright, and it just looks like Atlantean. I don't know how else to describe it, but but I liked it and I like the Aquaman comics. I really got into New 52 Aquaman. I haven't read too much of Rebirth. Oh no, sorry, I did read New Rebirth. I haven't read too much of the new DC Universe stuff, but
Okay.
I really like the comic, his storyline in the comic books, and it stays pretty true to what I'd expect Aquaman to look like, to dress like. So I enjoyed it.
That's good. I'm really looking forward to seeing it, and I'm aware that Aquaman looks silly,
Mhm.
but I thought it looked pretty good in the trailers, and I'm excited to see it in the movie. And the special effects looked incredible. So seeing this in IMAX sounds like the perfect idea.
Yes.
And the sound is going to be incredible. The visuals, obviously. I'm told because my brother was actually there with you when you guys saw the early screening. He told
Right.
me that it was kind of predictable. The story wasn't really anything.
It is.
It was just like you said, it's a comic book movie. I'm told it's generic. It's good. It's good. And DC needs a win, and it seems like this is going to be a win, not like a home run, but
Right.
it's going to get them on the bases, and that's good. Wonder Woman was a home run, but
Yes.
they freaking struck out with BVS, Man of Steel, Suicide Squad, Justice League. I mean, they've been drowning.
Yes.
And if they want to save this universe, they need something like Aquaman, and it sounds like they have it.
They did, and it's like you said, it's definitely not a home run. It's not Wonder Woman, but it's good. It definitely gets them in play. I think that it'll do really well. I think that there's a lot of anticipation for this movie to be good, and it doesn't disappoint, especially given that we just came off Justice League, which I personally enjoyed, but I know that I'm in the minority in that one.
I liked it.
We're in the minority.
I mean, I didn't, but it has its issues.
Oh,
It's not a good movie.
Absolutely.
It was just fun. I liked it.
But this one is good. And in fact, Sharice, my wife, and I, at the end of the movie, we looked at each other and she goes, "So what'd you think?" I was like, "I thoroughly enjoyed that."
Oh, so she went too?
Yeah, she was there with me.
Jeez.
She was my +1.
It's like a party of you guys.
It was. And she goes, "Okay, good. I didn't want to say that I liked it and have you be like, 'What's wrong with you?'" But it was good. I think that fans of the comic book series will enjoy it, and fans who've never picked up a comic book and just want to go watch a good movie, I think that this will be that. So, like I said, there's enough of a color. The storyline, it's predictable. It's nothing extraordinary. It's nothing. It's just a basic storyline.
But it's nice to look at.
It is. Visually, it's stunning. It's a lot of fun. There's a few parts where you're like, okay, you overdid it with the CGI there. The way that they talk underwater is pretty cool. The way it reverberates and echoes like that, the way it does, that's pretty cool.
So they don't do the bubble thing like in Justice League?
No, they don't do the bubble thing.
That's fine. It was cool in Justice League, but I was thinking, I'm like, if they do that for the entire movie, that's a pain in the butt.
Yeah. There are parts where the bubble thing comes into play, but not so that they could communicate.
Okay.
You'll understand why they do that when you watch the movie. They explain that. It doesn't answer the question in Justice League, though. That's just stupid what they had to do with that. So
I didn't mind it, but so all right. Here's another question. Mara.
Yeah.
Did they do her justice?
Absolutely.
So she was powerful?
Oh yeah.
All right, good.
Yeah.
Because in the trailers, she seems like a damsel in distress. They don't ever show her in action in the trailers, really.
She gets a little bit of action, not a whole lot.
Okay.
I hope what they're trying to do is kind of save her.
Mm-hmm.
I'd love. Well, I mean, it's Amber Heard. I'd love to watch her in her own movie alone, anyways. But
I don't blame you. She's beautiful.
Right. I mean, Mira is such a powerful entity in the DC universe that I'm hoping what they do is they're going to create a movie specifically for her. So she does a little bit. You get a little bit of her story, how she came to be, what her background is, and there's a moment in the movie, and this won't spoil anything, But there's a moment in the movie where they're talking about the land dwellers. And she's like, I hate them too. I feel like they deserve whatever's coming for them, which a lot of Atlanteans, that's just a general feel. But there's a moment in the movie where she's on land and like you can see the light flip. And they intentionally did that, right? They wanted to show that she doesn't view them all as being bad again. But she did such a good job acting that part and playing that role. Like I totally bought into it. I'm sitting there watching this going like we just witnessed a transformation, and they did the writing and the way that they shot that was very well done. So there's a few moments in the movie where there's some parts of that where you're like, okay, that was exceptional directing.
Yeah,
very good writing. It was. I don't know. I could go on for a while talking about it, I guess, but it was a good movie. I enjoyed it. I was not disappointed at all. It was definitely. I go watch it again. In fact, I'm going to take my kids to go watch it.
Nice.
And for me, that's a big indicator. If I'm willing to go watch a movie again, then that's a good sign. I feel
good. Well, I keep hearing James Wan is the one. So James Wan is the one.
The one.
I mean, he did a good job with the Fast and Furious franchise, and I know they're totally different, but
right.
He's done horror most of his career. Then he came into Fast and Furious, did a great job. I knew he was going to do good on Aquaman. So I'm excited. I think DC's headed in the right direction. Shazam is showing a lot of promise.
We got an extended trailer of Shazam at the movie.
Oh, really?
Cool. It was extended, but there was some other parts we haven't seen.
Okay.
I was least excited about Shazam. After that trailer, I'm like, okay, this might actually be a good movie.
I think it's going to be awesome. It looks so funny. It looks so good.
It does now. It definitely does. That one looks good. So
I'm excited. I mean, anyone that listens to our show knows I'm a DC fan. Sometimes bordering on DC apologist. But I say that jokingly because I'm not liking the CW stuff. I'm not just going to excuse it because it's garbage.
Right.
But I like things that others don't, like Justice League and Batman v Superman. Although I didn't love Justice League. Anyways, I'm excited to see good DC stuff with Titans, with Aquaman, Wonder Woman, and I think Shazam. I mean, it's not out yet, but it shows all that promise. And I'm excited. You know what? We need to discuss this real quick. Do you have time? I know you said you were kind of pressed.
Oh, go ahead, yeah.
The Infinity War trailer. Not Infinity War, sorry. Endgame. Avengers Endgame.
Endgame.
What'd you think?
So I liked it. And not from the standpoint of, I mean, it was good. I thought it was well done. I loved the emotional hook they got into you with Tony speaking to Mrs. Potts for the last time he's ever going to talk to her. I really enjoyed that hook. I think what I enjoyed most about that trailer is it almost revealed absolutely nothing.
Agreed. I love that.
What's bothered me about trailers is they give you so much of the movie and so much of what's going to happen that when you go watch the movie, you're like, I already knew that. Like, okay, we know Ant-Man's going to show up. We know that Hawkeye is now Ronin or becoming Ronin. We know certain things because of that trailer. But as far as anything else, that was pretty much it. It didn't show anything. It didn't give you any part of the story necessarily. There were a few things like Thanos' armor up as the Scarecrow on Titan. I mean, there were a few Easter eggs, so you could really dive into it if you wanted to. But I liked it from the aspect that it didn't spoil anything. It didn't give anything away. It was just a teaser. Yeah,
it was a teaser, and it gave me what I wanted, which was nothing. I didn't want anything. I just wanted to see a little bit of the movie, and that's what I got. I do miss my beard bro, Captain America. May his beard rest in peace.
I was disappointed they got rid of the beard.
He looked good.
That's part of Infinity War.
Yeah, he looked good with his beard.
He did.
But I'm excited because, and we knew this before because in Infinity War, who survives is the original Avengers. But I'm excited to see the original Avengers back in action.
Yes.
with the addition of Hawkeye now being Ronin.
Mhm.
And I think that's going to be really cool. I'm excited to see him in a different role because people just make fun of Hawkeye all the time. I don't get it. I really don't think he's as useless as people say. But I guess I can see why people make fun of him. He doesn't have any powers and whatnot. And he's not a sexy babe like Scarlett Johansson as Black Widow. But anyway, I'm excited to see him as Ronin. I thought he looked kind of cool.
Right.
And yeah, you're right. It didn't give us much. It showed us Ronin. It showed us that Scott Lang gets out of the quantum realm, which we knew he was going to get out. I saw someone online complaining, "Oh, I didn't want to know that he got out of the quantum realm." You didn't think he was going to get out of the quantum realm? You just get to find out how now. Okay?
Exactly. You knew it was going to happen.
Yes.
So, and it's just a matter of how.
I still think that Scott Lang is going to play a huge role. I think Scott Lang discovers something in the quantum realm that is going to allow them to go back in time. And that's why we see all this stuff in the past, is that that's Scott Lang discovers how to use the quantum realm to go back in time.
Excuse me. No, I agree. I think that he will. And I think that's why, he's knocking on the Avengers door saying, hey, let me in. I got to,
I've got news.
I got news type thing. So,
yeah.
But yeah, I agree. Nothing was revealed. It didn't show anything. It didn't say anything that we didn't already know. We already knew the name. We knew it was going to be called Endgame.
Yeah, that wasn't a big surprise.
So nothing was spoiled. But at the same time, I enjoyed it. I probably watched the trailer 5 or 6 times that day that it released.
Yeah, I watched it a few. So my brother brought up a good point, and I agree. But I do think Endgame is the best name for the movie. He said that he really wished that they would have just named it Avengers Assemble. And I do think that would have been pretty cool. But Endgame makes sense. They talked about Endgame at the end of Infinity War. So
and Doctor Strange even says we're in the Endgame now.
Yes.
So
yes, that's why it was speculated so heavily that it was going to be called Endgame. Mm-hmm. That's why it wasn't a surprise. But I do think it would be cool if they called an Avengers movie Avengers Assemble. And I think that that chance is kind of lost now because we know a few of the main Avengers. The actors are done.
Right.
And so we're not going to get that main cast anymore. And if we do, it's going to be with different actors, which could be awesome. But
could be.
We're missing that opportunity with the originals. But it's not that big a deal. It's just
my thought too. Like
fan service.
DC is going to change up the Justice League, and that's fine because we're really not committed to any one character except for Superman. Henry Cavill's really the only guy that I think we were all attached to. I take that back. You've got Gal Gadot now as Wonder Woman, who there's a lot of argument that she didn't personify Wonder Woman. You could still argue that she does it, but I think she does a phenomenal role as Wonder Woman.
I agree.
I think that in the Marvel MCU, if they get rid of a character and recast it as somebody else, it won't work.
No,
just the simple fact that we've had a decade to fall in love with these characters, and we've become to see Chris Evans as Captain America. You watch a movie trailer that he's in, you're like, hey, Captain America is doing a serious serious movie. Like, what? Captain America's out there fighting aliens. That's not what he does. Unfortunately, they've become that character, so if they don't like that, they're kind of tied to that. But for a decade, we've been watching these guys take on these roles. So changing those, I don't think would work.
Well, that's why I think the only way they can do it is if they make Bucky Captain America or Falcon Captain America, something like that.
And they'd have to write the story to be true to Bucky as Captain America, not him as Steve Rogers.
Yeah. I agree.
So
I agree.
Yeah.
All I know is I'm excited. It's coming out like a week earlier than we originally anticipated.
Right.
And I'm excited. There's so many movies coming out. I was just realizing, Aquaman's next week. Once Upon a Deadpool came out today. Mortal Engines came out today. Bumblebee comes out next week.
Yep.
Like, that's just this month.
Right. Well, granted, this is a big time for movies too, there are a lot of movies out right now. Excuse me. And not just comic movies. Like, there's just a lot of good movies that are out right now.
I still haven't gotten to see Bohemian Rhapsody. I know you said it was great.
Dude, go watch it.
I know, I need to.
Oh my gosh.
My wife wants to see it. I need to find a time that she can go with me.
It was so good. I would go in a heartbeat to watch that again.
Yeah.
And in fact, I told Sharice, I'm like, this will be one that we will be purchasing like the day it releases. It was that good.
Nice.
But and there's Creed 2.
Oh yeah, I want to see that too.
Mortal Engines, just like you said, just came out once. I mean, there's so many good movies that are out right now. And back to Aquaman real fast. I think that Aquaman's going to do very well. Even with all of these other movies, you got Peter Jackson and some big names that are just released movies this weekend. I still think that Aquaman's going to do really well, and rightfully so.
It's going to win the month.
I hope so. It was that good of a movie that I do hope it does. So
I think it will. I don't see a world where Aquaman doesn't. Into the Spider-Verse won't, because it's an animated movie.
Right.
And not that animated movies can't win, because Disney can, but I don't think a Sony animated movie like that would beat Aquaman.
It's going to beat Aquaman. Or even, I mean, you got Peter Jackson's name behind Mortal Engines. You put Peter Jackson. That's why Hobbit did so well. It was a terrible trilogy if you're a fan of the book. It was awful.
I'm a fan of the book, but I can separate the two. Because I agree. It was bad.
I had to learn to. Because of that, I had to learn to separate the two, and I didn't want to do that. But I still, when I watched all three, because it's got Peter Jackson's name. I think Mortal Engines is going to do the same thing, because it's got his name tied to it. Yeah. But I still think that Aquaman will take the month.
I agree. And Bumblebee, I think, will do well, and it seems like it's going to be the best Transformers in a while. But Transformers has lost a lot of people because the last few have sucked.
Since
the last two. I liked the third one, but the last two, like, I hated both of them. They were dumb. Yeah. They were bad. And I'm not that hard to please. I fell asleep in both of them. I didn't like either of them. Don't get me wrong. There's some really cool action sequences in them. They're eye candy, but they're dumb. And I thought they were going to be better because of Mark Wahlberg, but they're not. But the buzz we've been getting out of Bumblebee is good. And Optimus Prime looking like his cartoon counterpart, freaking cool.
Yes.
It looks great. I'm excited, but I don't know when I'm going to see it because I'm already going to see Aquaman next week.
Right. Well, I want to go see Mortal Engines, and like I said, there's a few others on my list that I'd like to go see.
I just need to go to, man, I had Monday and Tuesday of this week off, but we were down to one car, so I was stranded at home for my days off, which was fun. Don't get me wrong. I finished playing Spider-Man PS4, which was great. Nice. And I just, I hung out at home. But I tell you, I would have taken one of those days and probably just gone and watched Bohemian Rhapsody and Creed 2 and just taken a day to go to the movies and catch it up in the future. Yeah, because there's a bunch. There's a bunch in there right now. I want to see Creed 2. I think it looks really good, and Bohemian Rhapsody looks really good. Yeah, it's a good time to be a movie fan.
Let me spoil Bohemian Rhapsody for you. Freddie Mercury dies.
What?
I know, right?
No.
But
say it ain't so.
They do a really good job. Like, they don't show his death the way the movie ends. Mm-hmm. And I tell you, like, the way it ends, it's such a moving tribute to him as Freddie Mercury. Like, I was almost in tears at the end of that movie. It was so good.
Really?
So it's a good movie. But yeah, it was good.
I need to see it because I saw A Star Is Born a few weeks ago, and I really liked that. And
you liked A Star Is Born.
I loved it.
You were the second person, me being number one, that liked The Star Is Born. I've not met anybody else that liked it. My wife, I went with all of our friends across the street from Lance. We walked out of there like, that was terrible. I'm like, are you kidding me? Like, I love that movie.
It's depressing, but it was so well acted and beautifully filmed, and the music was incredible. And my wife doesn't like depressing movies either. She wouldn't like A Star Is Born. I went without her. I thought it was great. I thought it was so good.
Bradley Cooper, in case it's his first time directing and writing and all that, knocked it out of the bloody park.
I agree.
Oh, so good.
And he's got the freaking voice of an angel.
He does. He can sing. I was impressed. In fact, they play a couple of his songs on the radio here. You're in Colorado now, but maybe they don't do it there as well. But they play that one, The Shallows with Lady Gaga. They play that, and they say Maybe It's Time on the radio.
Shallow.
Right?
In the shallow.
So you're the second person that liked that movie. I've yet to find somebody else that actually enjoyed that movie.
Really? I have a coworker that loves going to the movies. Well, no, not just a coworker. Jordan that is on the show with us sometimes as well. He loved it. He loved it as well.
That's
I haven't
good.
met anyone that didn't like it. So that's funny that you've only met people that
Didn't like it.
Yeah, it is depressing. It's sad. If you've seen any of the other Star Borns, it's a remake, and
Yeah.
it's going to be like those.
Yeah, it's sad.
And I didn't realize that going in. I didn't know that it was going to be a sad movie, so I was caught off guard.
Sure,
but it was great. Like I walked out of there like devastated.
Yes,
but in a good way.
You got connected to the characters.
Yes. Yes. And I'm sorry because that probably spoils some stuff, but it's a remake of a movie that came out in like the 50s. A remake was made of that, and a remake of that. And
this is like the time it's been remade. So.
Yeah, I think the fourth or fifth. Yeah. So that's Anyway, well, cool. I think that'll do it. I did just mention that I finished Spider-Man PS4, and I do want to say if you have a PS4, get that game.
I've heard it's good.
It was really good. It was very good. It's not related to any of the movies. It's not related to the MCU at all. It's totally its own thing. Okay. It doesn't have Green Goblin in it. It doesn't have Venom in it. So it doesn't have two of those heavy hitters because I think they're saving them for sequels.
Right. And
it didn't need them. Scorpion was in it. Vulture was in it. Doc Ock was in it. Rhino. The Shocker, Electro. A lot of other amazing Spider-Man villains were in it. That's awesome. Web swinging is the most fun I think I've ever had traversing an environment.
Okay.
It's so fun swinging around New York City. So again, if you have a PS4,
go get this game.
Get it. Save up some money and get it. It's so fun. If you're not good at video games, put it on easy. I played it on normal mode, and there were a few times it got difficult, but it's fun. It is so fun.
Cool. So, speaking of video games, since I got to be the gamer guy for 30 seconds this morning, I got Super Smash Bros. Ultimate for Nintendo Switch. Phenomenal game, very well done. In fact, for Scouts this week, we on our back of our house we have a huge area that has no windows or anything on it.
Nice.
We took a projector and put the screen up on the back of the house and had life-size Super Smash Bros. Fights.
That's a good Scoutmaster right there.
It was fun.
So I'm actually his Scoutmaster too, and I was this close to bringing my PS4 to Scouts to show them Spider-Man because we were doing the game design merit badge.
So that's awesome. We're doing something similar, so that's fantastic.
Yeah, that's awesome.
So that was good on the game realm. If I can throw a plug in too, there are some absolutely awesome comic books that are coming out. If you've listened to any of our podcasts from the Tucson Comic-Con, the panels that we did, I think I have one more to put out there as well. But Anthony talked about the new Green Lantern by Grant Morrison. Probably the best Green Lantern story we've gotten.
Really?
In DC Comics. It's such a good story. It is beautiful. I read it on his recommendation, and I went in with Anthony being as excited as he was about comics. I went in with very high expectations of that comic book and was not disappointed. In fact, it was better than I thought it would be.
That's when you know it's good, when you have high expectations and it exceeds them.
And it exceeds them.
Yeah.
So it was good. If you ever read anything of Grant Morrison, you know what you're in for. It's a treat. He's a phenomenal storyteller.
Nice.
So, and then there's some really good Star Wars stuff. If you're into Star Wars comics, there's two new series about Han Solo that are out, and the Star Wars Darth Vader. A new arc picked up about 3 issues ago, so they're kind of wrapping up this particular part of the arc.
Okay.
If they made a movie out of that comic book series,
I need to get caught up on that. I only read the first issue of the original one that came out a few years ago.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's that same series. We're on like issue 50 something now.
Oh man, I'm 55 behind.
So, but you'll catch up.
I've got a lot.
This arc, but it is so good what's happening right now with Darth Vader, and he's trying to go back in time to save Padme. And anyways, it's just this really unique what's happening. It's really cool.
Yeah.
So
cool, because it's near the beginning of his time as Vader, isn't it?
He's been Vader for a little while.
Okay.
The Jedi Council and everything still exists, or not the Council. Sorry, no.
The Senate?
I believe the Senate still exists. I believe. I gotta remember on that one specifically because there's like 4 or 5 different Star Wars comic books that are out right now that I'm reading. And they just started one about Darth Maul. Issue 1 just came out on Wednesday, which was really good. I believe, yeah, it's early on in his days as Darth Vader, so it's a good story. If you're into Star Wars, I would strongly recommend picking up probably about, I think it's like issue 50 or 51 where they started this new arc, and just read and go from there. So
Nice. Well, I had one more thing I wanted to just mention, a couple things, but
go ahead.
one of them is we haven't recorded since something very impactful happened in the comic book community, and that is the death of Stan Lee.
Yes.
So I wanted to just take a moment to address that. I mean, it's been about a month now.
Yeah.
I don't know that I would say that's a sad death. I mean, he was in his 90s.
He's 95.
He lived a long life. He was healthy for most of it. I mean, he was recording cameos not long ago.
Right.
But man, he just left a legacy. Just what a legacy the man left. Putting you on the spot here, but what would you say your favorite Stan Lee cameo is?
My favorite Stan Lee cameo?
Yeah.
Oh, man.
I'll give mine while you think.
Okay, yeah.
Are you Tony Stank? Yes, this is Tony Stank. I thought that was a really good one.
That was a good one.
Although a pretty close runner-up is the Amazing Spider-Man when he's got his headphones on and he's cleaning up and they're fighting all behind him, and that one's pretty good too.
I like that one. I also enjoyed I got a kick out of when he's on. I can't remember the name of the planet that he's on, but he's talking to I'm drawing a whole blank on the alien.
Guardians or no? Okay.
It wasn't Guardians. Yeah, it was from the Guardians, but
it was Guardians 2 when he's talking to the Watchers.
Yes, thank you.
Okay, that's a good one.
He's just sitting there telling them, he's like, I got more stories, guys. Where are you going?
That one's funny because it shows you how bad of an actor he is.
Yes.
Where you going, guys? Oh, come on, guys.
So
just a charming man, and he left such an amazing legacy. They paid great tribute to him in the Into the Spider-Verse and the end credits. They were able to put just a real quick thing in there before they released the movie.
Awesome.
His cameo in that was really good. His cameo in the Spider-Man PS4 game was really cute. He basically turns to MJ, like him and MJ and Peter Parker are in a diner, and they've broken up at this point because the game takes place like he's 8 years into his Spider-Man thing.
Okay.
And they've broken up at this point, and they got together as friends. And Peter leaves the restaurant to go do Spider-Man stuff because she knows who he is. And as she's leaving, you see Stan Lee is like the cashier or whatever, or he works at the restaurant, and he looks at her and he says, "I'm glad to see you two back together again. You were always my favorites."
What a tribute. That's awesome.
Right? And just a real fitting tribute from one of his last cameos, because Spider-Man was his baby. And you hear the story of that. It was one of those things where like one of the editors was like, fine, you can throw it in one of these last issues. I know you've been wanting to do it. And it became a hit. And now Spider-Man is using the same breath as Superman.
Yep.
You know, as far as fame. And Stan Lee did that. Like,
yep.
If there's one comic book creator, everyone knows it's Stan Lee.
Yeah.
If you name other ones, they're not going to know who they are. Not everyone's going to know Jeff Johns. You know, they're not going to know some of these other guys.
Right.
But Stan Lee, everyone knows who he is, and he did a great service to the world.
He did. He's a large reason why the pop culture is the way that it is. It wouldn't be near what it is today if it was not for him. And I think that if you're a nerd, you're a dork, you're a geek, we owe a lot to that man.
Absolutely. Well, one more thing. This is a housekeeping thing before we wrap up. You may have seen our Facebook post about it, but just wanted to just say it here. If you guys didn't see the announcement, Jay unfortunately has left Couch Crunchers. Very amicable. Jay's great. We love him.
Positive, and good for him. You know, he's before he joined Couch Crunch, before we started this whole thing, he was very actively involved in the music, particularly the punk rock industry, and he is going to take what he's learned from his time with Couch Crunchers and go back to what he was doing there before.
Yeah,
he was trying to split his time, and it got to be a little too much for him. And
oh yeah, he's a dad. He has 2 jobs. He had audio ammunition, you know, and he had this, and he had a lot going on. So I just wanted to acknowledge that. You won't be seeing Jay on the podcast much anymore. I say much because he may pop in occasionally. We're friends. So
absolutely.
He may pop in occasionally.
He was at the Aquaman preview with us.
Okay.
So
I figured he was, but my brother doesn't know who Jay is. He was like, yeah, there's another guy. I was like, I bet that's Jay. He's like, I don't know.
Yeah, Jay was there. I mean, it's nothing negative, and he does wish us all the best, and we wish him the best, and we're all still friends.
Well, we do this to have fun, but it's time consuming too, running a website and writing articles and all that. So absolutely amicable. Just wanted to address that so that listeners know not to expect Jay as often.
Right.
We're not going to announce anything yet, but we do have some big things to come. I know you put a post up a little while ago, Cameron. Sorry, that's a bit of a tease, but there are some big things to come for Couch Crunchers. We're making some changes, doing some new things.
Yep.
So with that, do you have anything else you want to plug before we wrap up, Cameron?
No, you guys stay nerdy.
Yes. So let's, with that, nerds,
dorks,
geeks,
unite.